Hello and welcome to another Pick a Card reading. In today's reading, we are doing a career check-in. So this reading is going to be all about what's going on, what's happening in your career, what kind of guidance and advice can we get you from Spirit. So I have prepared 3 piles. Let me show you what we got going on here. So this is Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. For Group 1, we have this adorable sand dollar. Let me show you the back. That is for Group 1. I have pre-shuffled a couple of cards, but we're going to pull lots more during the reading, of course. So this is Group 2, a cute white, gray, blue seashell with a perfect little hole in there to wear as a necklace. I found it that way. And then for Group 3, for you, we have a super smooth white rock. It is so satisfyingly smooth. It is ridiculous and like pretty much a perfect circle. Look at the perfection of nature. Okay, so that is Group 3. I'm going to give you a moment to zone in or zone out, whichever you need to do in order to choose your pile. Before I do that, let me just remind you, if you would like to book a personal reading, you can do so with the information linked below. In the description, you will find my website where you can book a reading. I will never solicit readings via DMs. Make sure that all the accounts that you're following are actually my official accounts. Do not get scammed, okay? I'm going to give you a moment and then timestamps will be in the description below and I will meet you at your reading. Hi Group 1, this is your reading if you chose the adorable sand dollar. Let me see if I can get you a super up close. So pretty. This is the smallest one I have. I'm gonna set this right up here and then let me just decide. I haven't decided yet if I want to. There's so much sand on this card coming from the little sand dollar booty hole. Okay. And these are the cards that I have pre-shuffled. I have not seen them yet, so I'm just trying to decide if I want to pull some tarot cards first or do I want to get into these oracle cards first. I think I want to keep it a little mysterious. So let's just start off with some tarot cards. And then we will use the oracle cards and such to fill in the blanks. However, 2 of these are oracle, 1 is a tarot, and I do want to see the tarot card first. Okay, we have the Ace of Swords. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so the Ace of Swords in connection with this career check-in is telling me that we are making some tough decisions, we're making some tough choices, and part of this I think is really tough because it's possibly a truth that we have avoided for some time. It might be something that was kind of like buzzing in the back of our minds, but we just tried to make other things work first. This Ace of Swords indicates that it's time. It's time. Oh, it's interesting that there are these big fat like teeth. There is a huge bumblebee right in front of me outside my window right now. It's just like trying to come inside through the glass. So interesting. The bumblebee giving me this idea of making the impossible happen in some ways, maybe even, I think for some of you, this is about working smarter, not harder. Some kind of wisdom and insight that you have gained with those wisdom teeth about how to do something in a more efficient way. Let's get some insight. So for group one, what's going on in career? What do we need to talk about when it comes to career? We have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands connecting to the Ace of Swords could also indicate a search for expansion in terms of education. So whether you are deciding to join a specific program that is set in place to help you further your career, further some sort of credentials, that is something that you might be considering or have been considering for a while. We got the Ace of Wands. Okay, I think things are like lining up. Like I feel like domino stones, you've been lining them up for a while, and I think we might be getting to a point where we're getting ready to keel over that first domino stone, and it's going to set something in motion, seems like. We have the Six of Pentacles. And we have the Hierophant. I'm going to just keep going. We have the Temperance card underneath the Three of Wands. We have the World card underneath the Wands. The Ace of Wands. I don't know why. I just read the word Wands. And then we have the Hermit. Okay, I'm getting something. Ten of Wands. Ooh. Listen, you are about to commit yourself to something. Oh, okay. You're about to commit yourself to something, and you're like ready to go all in. And I don't know that you are fully aware when you start to make this commitment. I don't know that you're fully aware of how much dedication it is really going to take. And I think that is to your benefit. Like, I think the depth of dedication is not fully something that you are aware of. Like, I think you know it to a certain degree, to a certain level, but you're heading into something not fully understanding the full ramifications of committing to that path. And if you were made aware of the full, then the full picture, basically, I think it would make you hesitate. And so for that reason, there's this idea of, you know what, I'm seeing more. This is giving me the grass is greener on the other side, but we know that the other side requires some kind of commitment. So whether that is commitment in form of a program where we are being taught new skills, there's something where we are putting our education or training first, because we know in the long run it will pay off. However, this feels like there is going to be a time period of restriction and constriction ahead of you. Don't let that discourage you, and don't let that make you feel like this was the wrong choice, because I don't think that that is the case. I do think that you are being called to. So the kind of idea that I'm getting, the vibes that I'm picking up on, I would compare it to the absolute grueling dedication that doctors have to put in order to become a doctor, right? So not only is there rigorous testing and learning, but there's also the insane amount of hours that doctors have to put in just to get residency and to get like their experience in. And so this grueling dedication of them working 12, 15-hour days, barely getting any sleep, but really having to show up consistently and constantly, and it really makes you feel like you're putting your all into that career, but knowing the benefits of someday you have that doctorate degree and you're a doctor and you're an accomplished doctor, and you get to kind of reap the benefits from a lot of work that was put in previously. Okay, so this is what I'm picking up on. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are training to become a doctor, but any kind of program or anything that you're considering is really going to ask a lot of restriction from you. So whether that is restricting your spending habits or restricting your kind of pleasure and leisure time, it's really going to make you feel like you're giving up a lot. But look at that, we have the Nine of Pentacles underneath the Five of Pentacles. In reality, you are investing. So instead of, think of, and I don't necessarily want to make this too focused around money, because I think it's more than that. Think of receiving like coins that are not necessarily money, but they are coins that you have to pay every time you go out for dinner with your friends, right? Every time, so it is kind of like money, but anytime that you spend time on something that doesn't really further this process, you are paying these coins. And so there's going to be this time of you not being able to afford to pay any coins, whether that is money or time or effort into relationships and friendships. That doesn't mean that you're going to be completely void of these things, absolutely not, but there's definitely a commitment being asked of you that's really going to make you feel like, I'm constantly giving away these coins and yet I'm not getting anything out of it. But that's because you're not spending the coins on experiences, you're actually putting them into a savings account, and then at some point you're going to be able to access that savings account of experience coins, and you're really going to be able to enjoy yourself after this time period of commitment. And this time period of commitment is being fostered by the fact that you know this is the thing that I want to do, or this is the thing that I want to commit myself to, because I see the worth in it beforehand. Like it's just like the idea of having like a master plan. And then with this Ace of Wands, this is where we get the motivation to stick with it. Okay, so when it comes to your career, I see you absolutely expanding into a realm of dedication that is not easy. And honestly, I just want to say this. Your values have to come first. So you have to know, how am I spending my life? How am I going to get the most out of it? And how am I getting my payback for the efforts that I'm putting in? I don't see this being the kind of commitment that one does solely for financial gain. I just don't see that, because this is grueling commitment, and I see that happening for more than financial gain. I see that happening because this is your calling that you're committing to. I see that happening because this is something that matters to you, because this is something that has an impact in a profound way, okay? So that's why I'm feeling this Temperance card is coming out underneath this Three of Wands, because you are being kind of lured into this expansion by Spirit. Let's get some dice on this. We have the third house. Where do I want to put these? We have the third house. We have Neptune, and we have Leo energy. Interesting. So with that, I'm getting a lot of creative ways in how to experience joy, but I also feel like this is gonna feel like a haze. This is gonna feel like time isn't going to, it will be either time doesn't move fast enough, or time, like it will feel to you as if time is moving super slow or it's moving super fast. There's going to be this weird experience of time where you constantly feel like you don't have enough of it or you have too much of it at one period of time. So I don't know if this will have to do with a job that is like condensed in its hours, like sometimes you're working 3 days straight and then you're off for a week or something like that, which again kind of is drawing me back to the medical field. I do feel that a lot of you, especially because we had those teeth, we have the temperance card here, even with the Hierophant, I'm seeing a lot of signs and symbols are pointing towards something within the medical field, but that doesn't have to resonate for everyone. But even with the third house, I could see that applying specifically. Somehow those teeth are just standing out to me. So specifically, this could have to do with somebody really kind of committing to a path in dentistry or something like that, or surgery with that Ace of Wands. Okay. Now, if you hear in the background, there are some outdoor noises. I live next to a community center and there's some kids outside playing Marco Polo, and I think it's adorable. I'm not really bothered by it, so if you hear that in the background, apologies, but they're not often out there, so you gotta let the kids have their fun. Now I want to take a look at what we have here. We have Saboteur and the Revelry. Let me read you the attributes of Saboteur. The light attribute highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. And the shadow attribute induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. And then we have the Revelry. I'm picking up on, I'm not so much focused on the shadow attribute here, but the light attribute highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. I think because we started off with this Ace of Swords, I think this is something that has been on your mind for a long time, and you are well aware of the restriction that this would kind of impose on you in terms of having fun with this Leo energy and having freedom in a lot of ways. But I think this is something that you are ready to commit to because you recognize that if you commit yourself to something, I'm also getting this feeling of knowing that you have to commit yourself to something in order for it to really engage you. So there are people like that, right? Where we can't feel quite motivated until we feel obligated. So I am getting a hint of that obligation is actually something that kind of, especially obligation towards other people, I think is something that really kind of engages you. Almost as if there are certain things that you wouldn't do for yourself, but you're more than willing to do them for the benefit of others. You're like, if I have to show up for someone else, you're willing to do that. And so, okay, I am picking up that for some of you, this dedication could have to do with the fact that you actually have to step up for the benefit of someone else. Because you're having to take care of someone else financially, this is actually like getting you to dedicate yourself to something that makes more sense in the long run, because you are really having to step up. Okay, so I'm getting a couple things, and this is going to be different for different people, but some of you have actually overspent. This is so particular. Some of you have actually overspent in the last couple of years, because you've been traveling, because you've just been making experiences, and so you kind of lost track. You've been overspending, and now you're recognizing, oh, I really need to, I need to zip it up. I need to like get it together, and therefore I'm gonna have a time period of me really holding on to my coins and really dedicating myself to my craft and making sure that all works out. So some of you, yes, you've been overspending, and therefore it's almost like you set yourself a trap of motivation, because you knew that this would kind of work. It's almost like this idea of, the kind of people that are really good at procrastinating, and it's like you know that you're not going to finish that paper until it's due, because you get this idea of like, I work best under pressure. That's what I'm getting here. I work best under pressure. So you created yourself an environment where you had that pressure. Either you did that through experience and travel and enjoyment, and now you're like, okay, I need to really kind of get it together. Or a different storyline that I'm seeing here is that you might have to actually step up and have more financial responsibilities because of a family member that requires a lot of support. Support, whether that is in a financial way or in a medical way, and that's where we're tying in the medical notes again. So somebody in your family might require a lot of support, and again, I don't see any kind of bitterness on your end. There is this Five of Pentacles here, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, you're like, no, I'm doing the right thing. So I don't really see any kind of bitterness here. Again, I'm seeing a lot of motivation to dedicate yourself to this cause. Now, with this card, the Revelry, I do want to point out that I do feel like you needed something that was really going to keep you closely engaged. And again, the way I'm picking that up is how the way that some people join the military, because they just know they need to have that strictness. They need to have that restrictive environment for them to thrive. And then they join the military and they are super restricted in their environment, and they do thrive, right? There are certain people that thrive in those environments, not all of them. And that's not to say that you're going to join the military. That's not to say that you're the kind of person that would join the military. But I am seeing that you are the kind of person that needs to feel like the imagery that I keep getting is something being really closely sewn together, like stitched together. There needs to be some kind of tension in order for you to really like hold it together and to really show up at your strongest. So that's why I'm seeing that when you don't have that kind of commitment, that's when the saboteur energy comes up in the negative, which induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. And something that I'm picking up across the board here is that there might be difficulty with attention. So, and this doesn't have to apply fully. If it doesn't apply, then it's just another metaphor, because the other energy that I'm picking up on here is like the idea of a child in a classroom that has some kind of attention deficit disorder, and really it's just because they're not engaged enough. They're just not in that classroom. They're not challenged enough, or they are challenged too much. But in the way that I'm seeing it for you, it's like when you're not challenged enough, your attention wanders all over the place. If you are properly challenged, you're able to really hone in that attention and really work towards your goals in a way that makes you feel really accomplished and proud. And that's why we have the Revelry here too, because then there is this feeling of, and they brought this out so that we could see that there is going to be this feeling of accomplishment eventually, and that's what we're working towards. Okay, so when it comes to career, you are expanding. If I had to simplify it, and you're not really interested in joining any kind of programs or furthering education, then I definitely see you applying for a new job that might actually I don't know, like there's something about a new job that might have kind of pay cut and it's out of your comfort zone, and yet you feel really motivated to get through whatever it is that that job offers you, but I don't see you staying there long. I don't see this being a long-term process. I see this being a sprint, not a marathon. So if this is a job that has to hold you over for a little while, you're going to take it and you're going to make the most of it, almost like you would enjoy either like the labor or just the intensity of it. Something about this is very intense, but you're totally equipped to manage it, and not everybody would be. I think you're in a position to handle this very well, and it's not a long-term kind of thing. Although if this is furthering schooling, I do see that it is going to take some time, right? It's not like just a couple weeks of effort. Okay, now let's see, where are we at? What else do we want to pull? We got a lot of information from all of that. You know what, let's do, if you are here for the first time, if you are here in group 1 for the first time, let me just inform you that in group 1 is where we figure out how the reading's gonna go, because I typically, I do these readings as I feel called to do them, and so I just kind of want to keep it open, but therefore in group 1 we establish the flow. Let's get for group 1, let's get a moon oracle. Oh, there we go, wisdom. Those wisdom teeth, I'm telling you. Okay, that is a 22, and sovereignty is at the bottom of the deck. I am really digging this. This is some kind of expansion when it comes to your knowledge. And look at all these books she's standing on, right? And in that case, if this is either a degree that you're pursuing, I do see you putting in the work to pass whatever tests it is that you need to pass, and then there will be some kind of graduation process that will really, really pay off for you. For group 1, can I get an oracle card? For group 1. Ooh. Okay, we got 2. What do we got? We got let go and the sun. This is interesting because let go in the background has a full moon, and then here's the sun. And look at how the way I just laid it down, the sun is beaming towards this card and she is reaching for the sun and leaving the moon behind. Interesting. At the bottom of the deck is slay, because we already know you're going to. Okay. That is so interesting. Let go and the sun. So the sun is about focused attention, focused efforts, and also just harnessed energy, harnessed, right? It's not energy that just spills. I mean, the sun does, but this in this context, it's about harnessing that energy. And then with let go, I feel like we're supposed to like remove, there's not really much that came out around your emotions aside from this 5 of Pentacles, which is just like the idea of having to buckle down for a while. But I don't see much else coming out in terms of your emotions aside from Neptune. And then we had here highlights your fear of self-empowerment. So let's step away from that, right? We want to step away from the fear around empowerment. I also just want to say that if you have been, if you have been shying away from leadership positions because you feel like it's too much and that it's something that you're not equipped to handle, that is not true. This is asking you to step away from your fears and step into the limelight, into your power, especially with this Leo energy. I think Leo in general is a very strong leadership kind of energy. You've accumulated a lot of wisdom, and I feel like after some time of training, I think you're fully equipped to show up in a very strong leadership role. Absolutely. If you wanted it. Okay, we're going to get one last oracle card, and this one I'm going to read from the booklet. The Perfect Key. This card loves coming out in this deck. It is like one of 3 cards that is just so loud, but so true every time it comes out. The Perfect Key. Happiness, encouragement, and unlock feelings. Let's get you a close-up. This card shows a woman holding a key in one hand and a cage with a heart in the other. There is a bird sitting on the woman's shoulder, encouraging her to try different keys with his mouth. Yet the woman has already found the perfect fitting key. She can open the cage and open her heart. Sometimes life is only a search for the right key. There are so many things that are hard for us to approach. We can have trouble accessing our own feelings. Thanks to friends and family, there are people who can help us find the lost keys to our personal happiness. This so strongly for me connects to this Ace of Swords. That is having found the perfect key. That is something that can motivate you and engage you. I think that's really important in whatever you do. Engagement. You have to feel really engaged when it comes to your career. And that's what I'm seeing here. The expansion towards something that's really going to engage you and really going to pay off in the long run, but it is going to ask you to kind of buckle down for a little while. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave it there. That's what I'm seeing for you. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care. Hi, Group 2. This is your reading if you chose this lovely seashell. I'm going to try and get you a super close-up. So pretty. We're going to set her down right here. And then these, I have not seen what these cards are. We're going to set these 2 oracle cards aside for now, and we're going to take a look at this tarot card. We have the 2 of Cups. Oh, I like this. I don't know why I said it like that, but I like the 2 of Cups in a career reading because it indicates to me that you are in pursuit of a career that is meaningful to you. You're not just in pursuit of money. You're not just in pursuit of status. You are in pursuit of meaning. And with the 2 of Cups, I feel that that is, if it has not already arrived, that that is on your horizon, that there is a job or a position or a career, because we're all on different paths, right? And a job is not necessarily a career. This indicates to me that you are either about to or just have found the kind of job that is really going to spark something in you, or the kind of job that you're really hopeful about to further your career. So let's get some tarot cards around this for Group 2. I also like that you're Group 2 and you got the 2 of Cups. And you got the only little item that could work as a cup. Put a little hole in it. Okay, for Group 2. Let's talk about it. What's going on career? What do we need to address? Where are we at? What's going on? Give me the deets. I am nosy. Okay, we have the World card. We have the Tower. Okay, so you might currently actually be searching for a job. And in that case, if you are currently searching for a job and you're already employed, you might be searching for something that's more engaging on a more emotional level. Or If you currently don't have a job and are unemployed, then you are searching for something. And as you are searching, you're like, it needs to be something that makes sense, right? It can't just be any job. You value your time and you value just the way you spend your life. I think you're very tapped in when it comes to like consciousness around work-life balance. We got the Queen of Wands. Get one more for this row, and we have the Two of Wands. Yeah, I do feel like you're in search. So again, whether you currently have a job, which that would make sense. Look at, we have the Page of Cups. I love this. We're getting more creative. I think you're getting more creative when it comes to your job. So whether you already have a job or not, I do feel like this Tower card is kind of like the decision to leave a job or the decision to have certain expectations, especially if you are currently unemployed. There is this stigma around... Sorry, I just had to move my candle. My candle is like... The flame is so tiny because there's too much wax in it, and it's bothering me because the flame is here for a reason. we are working together here, so give me just 1 second to kind of fix this. Okay, we are good. As good as it's gonna get. There we go, we're back. Okay, I just also want to point out that there's a lot of red and orange here, and then we have this Page of Cups, and the red is so embodied. And that's why I feel there's a lot of creativity that you're about to harness when it comes to your career. And I wonder if you are searching for something and you find an answer. You don't necessarily find a job or a position, but you find an answer that is actually going to lead you to want to do your own thing. Either want to do a new kind of job that is out of your comfort zone, or to want to do something that is just a lot more creative and a lot more enticing in a way. Let's get some more cards. Tell me about this World card. We have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, this feels like either a job that you left behind or the harsh reality of the job market in general. Okay, interesting. This card just jumped out and it landed like on, leaning against my chest in the reverse. So I am going to take it that way. This is going to be an interesting row. The Tower card with the Hangman in reverse. The Tower card with the Hangman in reverse right now is giving me this feeling of overstaying your welcome somewhere to the point where we become destructive. I am sure you have experienced this before, either in your own life or through an acquaintance. I have definitely heard and seen it happen multiple times when people are just really unsatisfied in their current job. They get really unmotivated and really kind of lax with certain procedures, and when you're just not invested and you don't really care, you don't really pay attention to the rules, that's how people get themselves into really sticky situations. And what happens is that people actually are so emotionally checked out from the job that they start actually self-sabotaging the position, and they keep pushing boundaries to a point where your employer might stand up and say, this has gone too far, we're done. Whether that is the quiet quitting, which a lot of people are talking about these days, which quiet quitting is just the idea of, I'm just not going to put any effort into my job anymore. I'm just doing the bare minimum, but I'm not not doing anything above the bare minimum. And this is just something, the way that we kind of make a decision by not making a decision, right? That's what I'm seeing here, is that there is a real life implication to you feeling really dissatisfied wherever you're at. And it's really shifting something. So whether that is you cannot find the job and then you're like, I'm so sick of it and I'm sick of the interviews, I'm just not going to put up with it anymore and I'm going to create my own thing and employ myself. Or whether this is you have a job and you're sick of that job and you kind of act out in a way that either forces you out of that job, or same thing, forces you in a way to finally act and start something else. Okay, we have another reverse card. I will take it the way it came out. We have the High Priestess in reverse. Tell me about this Two of Wands. We have the Six of Cups. Oh, I see you going back to some, yeah, look at that. Look at, we have the Four of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I definitely, after having had the Page of Cups here earlier, I see you going back to something that is a lot more fun. I see you going back to something that is connected to an older version of yourself. So whether that is childhood or teenage years, something that was really exciting to you, some kind of creative expression. I'm getting drawing right now, but that's just going to be for some of you. But drawing in some capacity is really important. What is up with this High Priestess in reverse, though? I'm going to get some clarification. I was going to say clarifiers, but then I was also going to say clarification, so I was about to say clarification. Okay, anyways. Let's get a card for this Tower and the Hanged Man. Can you connect the dots here for me? Connect the dots for the Tower and the Hanged Man. We have the Temperance card. Yeah, this is a oh, I just heard necessary evil. I was going to say this is a necessary shift, but I just heard necessary evil. This is a necessary evil, which indicates to me that this is a kind of situation that you're not going to enjoy, but it's necessary in order to get you to a place where you don't feel like this Nine of Wands energy anymore, where you don't feel overexerted, where you don't feel underappreciated. In order for you to get to this point, there is some kind of real, yeah, I do see you leaving something behind. I see you leaving something behind, but why is the Hangman in reverse? When this happens, you're not going to want to see the upside to it, because it is going to have real life implications, meaning material implications, which could be, again, I'm not here to scare anyone, right? Because this can play out in lots of different ways. For some people, this could have to do with being terminated from a job and just not having been fully prepared for that, or having done the quiet quitting and then something happens where it's like, I don't know, I don't even feel like necessarily that it isn't like you're singled out, but it's like the whole company goes down or something like that, where it's not like you're singled out and you're fired, but it's just something where the whole system somehow is affected. And I think that's where you step in and you're like, okay, well, I can't trust the system. I need to, like, why am I trying to adhere to some kind of system that doesn't even look out for me? Tell me about this Queen of Wands and the High Priestess in reverse. Oh, you know what? Even before I get a clarifier for that, I do feel that this connects to the same thing, because it feels like you actually caught on to this. Yeah, you caught on to this early on, and yet you didn't move. You remained somewhat passive in some kind of situation. And instead of listening to your intuition at the time, There's some kind of trust that you had that something so big couldn't fail, or something like, I don't know, there's some kind of disillusionment that happens whenever this event takes place, and then that shifts your perspective on, well, if something that messy can take place, then where am I safe? And then creating your own place of safety. And for sure, there's something that you, I think, picked up on early on, and you just kind of didn't make a move when your intuition was telling you to, and now you're going to be playing catch up. But it's okay. You're not running late or anything, but it's just that you're receiving some kind of very loud confirmation that's going to make you just want to focus on the idea of, damn it, I knew it. I should have listened to my gut. I should have listened to my gut instinct. And that's okay. You don't need to focus on shaming yourself for not listening. What we need to focus on is like, okay, well, that's cool. You got confirmation. You were correct. Now moving forward, where is your gut gonna take you? Where are you letting this take you? Tell me about this Queen of Wands with the High Priestess, even though I just talked it to death. Can you connect the dots for me? You got the 4. Yeah, that was your inability to act. You remained passive. That's exactly what I said. Yeah, I don't even know why I did that. I literally just like completely pulled it apart, and then yeah, you remained passive. That's the thing. You remained passive. What is underneath this 4 of Wands? We have the Magician. Oh, I see you taking control. You remained passive over something, some kind of employment in the past, and I see you taking a lot more control, and a lot more liberties, and a lot more creative expression is going to be important for you. So in terms of going back to this 2 of Cups, I do think that is something that is ahead of you. This commitment to something that is really more meaningful and more fulfilling is ahead of you. And currently, or in the recent past, you either lost a job, or you completely lost your motivation within that job. Now let's take a look at these oracle cards. We have Midas, Miser, very important, this is very fitting. Okay, and then we have the Goddess. Ooh, I like this. Okay, I think Midas, Miser is connecting to this 4 of Wands along with the Magician, because I think what we're focusing on here is the fact that we remained somewhat passive in the past, and then something somewhat forces us into action, and then suddenly we're like, oh yeah, okay, I got this. So it's the idea that you have access to both of these energies, Midas and Miser. Let me read you the attributes. It says light attributes: entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold, delight in sharing life's riches. And in the shadow attribute, it says hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. Midas and Miser. The Miser holds on to everything because he thinks that he's not going to receive any more. He thinks that nobody else is ever going to grant him stability, because he's very focused on what am I getting from outside, right? That is the passive energy, the Miser. And then the Midas touch, knowing that you can turn any situation into gold, meaning you can turn any situation into financial gain if you are fully invested and creatively challenged and spiritually aware of what your intuition is telling you. The Goddess indicates that as well, in the fact that we have it over here on this side with this Queen of Wands along with the 4 of Wands, a cause for celebration, and she's pointing over here. It's really indicating to me that you need to honor the high priestess within you and that you need to honor your intuition. The goddess, look at this imagery. This is a huge statue, and a goddess, what is a goddess without devotees or devotion? You need to show up for your inner goddess in a very devoted way, in a very assured way. So I feel that Midas and Miser, it's almost like we're moving from Miser into Midas energy. I also just realized I didn't roll my dice. But what I am feeling is that Miser is this energy of, I have to stay in this job because I have to pay my bills. Like, how else am I going to make money? How else am I going to make this happen? And this is the energy where you're following your intuition, knowing that you can figure it out. You can figure it out. That you don't have to remain codependent to an organization that really does not care about you. Not saying that's the case for every job, right? I'm sure there are plenty of people that have jobs where the employer does actually care. At least so I've heard in a myth once, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's get some dice around this. Ooh, we have the 10th house, which is the house of career. That's exactly what we are here for. We have the North Node, and we have Sagittarius. I love this. This is having the guts with this Queen of Wands, having the guts to follow the path that is calling you. I love that. I absolutely love that. North Node energy is focused attention, where we're being drawn to, the calling that we're experiencing. Sagittarius energy is explorative, and explorative through experience, not just explorative through living vicariously through books or media, but it's actually Sagittarius wants to experience and wants to explore what's possible. So this is definitely, this doesn't necessarily have to mean that you are, for some of you, you're leaving an old career behind and you're embarking on something completely new. For others of you, this is all happening on a mental plane. So mentally, you're checked out of this. Mentally, you're done. You're just ready to move on. And this is all kind of like directing you mentally to start making those changes in real life. So not for all of you, this is actually like action that is taking place in your life. It's more so what's kind of taken place in your mind, especially because we have this Four of Wands and the Four of Swords in the middle of the spread. Give me an oracle card for group 2. Look at that. We have resilience. At the bottom of the deck is change. Absolutely. You're changing from Miser to Midas energy, which is quite the change. Like that is, like those are two ends of a spectrum. And that's kind of what it feels like here in general, because we have the Nine of Wands, which is very resilient but exhausted energy. And then on the other side here, we have the Four of Wands. So this is celebration and exhilaration. So two very, very wide sides of the spectrum. With resilience, it is just affirming that you obviously have been trying to make something work that I think doesn't necessarily work for you anymore. And so Spirit is calling you literally to engage more creativity in how you proceed in your career. Because look at this woman. And I have seen this card so many times, and I've talked about this card so many times, but yet, you know what, I'm always praising the resilience, but if we take a look at what she's carrying, it's like, why? Look at this mess of tentacles and a giant rock, and why are we carrying this with us? Because society told us? It's not going to be a good enough reason much longer. Okay, for group 2, let's get some oracle cards. Group 2. Oh, that is that 2? No, that's fine. It's 3. I will take them. Ooh, this sounds like a knock-knock joke. Because it says, who's there? The magic within. It's all death is knocking at the door. Who's there? The magic within. Sorry, that probably doesn't make sense to you. I don't know. Here's what I'm seeing though. Death, especially the way it's coming out over this side. This is a question of who do I want to be in the world? How do I want to make my living? This is, I'm telling you, this, we're going back to this 2 of Cups. It's all about like finding more meaning in your everyday life. And also trusting the magic within, right? This High Priestess, in the past, you've had trouble accessing your intuition when it comes to career moves. And so this is really about exploring and honoring the magic within you and honoring your intuition. Again, with that goddess energy, we need to honor our High Priestess. Death, again, indicating that there either is a career or a job that fell away already or that is in the process of falling away. The energy that I'm getting from this is like a slow decay. Like something just crept up. That's the same energy of that quiet quitting. It's this slow decay. Something crept up and has just been infected and just hasn't been working anymore. And again, we're looking at ourselves like, okay, well, who do I want to be in the workforce? How do I want to show up? What do I want to be compensated for? And going back to the 6 of Cups with the 2 of Wands, it's about finding more joy and more, just finding more fulfillment in what you do. Okay, we are going to get one last oracle card, and this one we're going to read from the booklet. For group 2 in career, give us one last oracle card. For group 2 in career. We got it. Oh, keys on the trees, or keys on trees. And that is a number 49. Believe in yourself. Solutions and creativity. Okay, I feel like that's also part of your attitude. It's like once you finally do believe in yourself and really commit to yourself, there's like a part of you that's like, hello, duh. But that's okay. Take your time. I mean, don't take your time, you know. You should crack yourself open to yourself. But don't shame yourself for the amount of time that it may take, okay? 49, keys on trees. Believe in yourself, solutions, creativity. On the top of a winding, shiny metal tower, there is an elephant captured in a cage. A vast jungle of giant trees and plants surround him. But the elephant is not distressed. There are keys hanging from the trees. If he picks one, he can open the cage and release himself into the wild. No situation is too complicated to be solved. Look in unexpected places for answers. You have the creativity to find the way out. And that's exactly it. This tower is either the job that you are in or the job market, right? So this is the tower, but the idea is that you have the skills and the ability, which for this elephant is the trunk, to be able to reach these keys so you can totally find your way out of this. It just takes creativity. Absolutely. I love this. So cool and so on point. Absolutely just engage in more creative play. And listen, for some of you, again, this doesn't have to be something that is actively happening outside of your life. This could all be very mental right now, right? There is no time frame that I have for this because it's going to be different for a lot of people. But as you are moving through this energy, try to engage as much creative play as you can. Just like this book or this card said, there are unexpected ways that you can find solutions. So especially with this Four of Wands, this Two of Cups, the Six of Cups, I'm being called to ask you to engage in more play, all kinds of play. And I'm talking doing puzzles, I'm talking drawing outside with chalk on the sidewalk, like just some kind of creative expression, painting, singing, dancing, drawing. It doesn't have to be something where you're saying like, hey, I'm engaging in this kind of activity because I want to further my career. It's going to be something that I feel like is very kind of removed from the problem, but it's going to give you some kind of creative hit where all of a sudden it connects. And then it's like, oh, that's what I need to do, or that's where I need to start looking. That's the area that I need to grow into. Absolutely, 100%, you need to nourish your inner high priestess and you need to focus on creativity. And then this will kind of untangle itself. Absolutely. I love this for you. I think this is very exciting and I hope it resonates and I hope it makes sense. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm going to leave it there and I do hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care. Hi Group 3, this is your reading if you chose this lovely, super smooth, sorry, I know I've had this in pick a cards before and I just wish you could really experience how soft and smooth this is. It's like a baby bottom. Anyways, let me stop being weird and get into this reading. So I have 3 cards prepped. I have not seen these yet. These we are going to put off to the side and we will take a look at them in a little bit. We're going to start off with tarot first. So, what do we got here? Yes! We have the King of Pentacles. Oh my god, and this totally kind of is like a pentacle. I love this. For a career reading, are you kidding me? Do you even need my advice? What are we doing? You tell me. What should I do in my career? I'm so goofy for your reading. Sorry, it's really annoying. I love this. So the King of Pentacles is the most grounded king. The King of Pentacles is the most material king. That doesn't mean that this energy, it is a masculine energy, but we all have masculine and feminine energies. This really just means that you are very focused on grounding. You're very focused on being secure on a material realm, and you're willing to follow through with actions however they may be necessary. So this is a very dedicated energy. It's a very sober energy, to be honest. Sober in terms of you're not really being led astray by any kind of delusions or any kind of feelings of, why am I getting, you're not being guided by feelings of, there's a very specific word that's trying to come out, entitlement. You're not being guided by feelings of entitlement. Like there's a very humble energy to this, okay? You only want what you have earned. You're not asking for necessarily much more. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you're not asking for a lot of money. Like you just want to know that you are being honored. Okay, let me get into this. So for Group 3, let's talk about career, what's going on, what do we need to talk about, what do we need to address for Group 3 in career. We got the Seven of Swords, What is going on? Are you stealing company secrets? I feel like somebody just got caught. I feel like somebody was just like, oh, how did she know? We got the Six of Wands, love that for you. We got the Star. No, you know what I'm picking up with the Seven of Swords? Because the Seven of Swords is just about making sure that you are taking care of you, because there is this fear of nobody else will. The Seven of Swords is kind of, you know, having your own back. But what I am picking up here is you might be a little bit overly cautious, a little bit over, I'm having quite the difficult time with my words for your reading. There's another word that wants to come out. Frugal. Let's get one more for this row. And the High Priestess. Okay, this is, I mean, that Seven of Swords is interesting. It definitely adds some spice to this. But these are great cards to come out for a career reading. Are you kidding me? Seven of Wands at the bottom of the deck right now. So we have the Six of Wands, the Star, and the High Priestess. This is this knowledge of like, I always knew I was a star. Oh my god. The energy is honestly very goofy in your reading. Like I've did not have this kind of energy in the other readings. But it's just so interesting because your energy is very calm, but there's like this goofy energy around it, which just I don't know why it's making me laugh, because I honestly kind of get the sense that this would actually annoy you. Why is it so... This is odd. Okay, we will get there. We will make sense of this. Anyways, the Seven of Wands. Okay, so there's some capacity that you've been very frugal when it comes to career. And almost like there are certain wins that you've had, certain illuminations is what I'm hearing, certain illuminations, certain things that have happened throughout your career that were actually quite significant that you didn't share with people, that you really kind of held off to yourself. But I do see, or you may have not been in a place where you were able to share. Oh, this is interesting. Who are you? Who are you? Okay, listen, for some of you, this actually has to do with a contract that was signed about a project that has been in the works for a long time, and it's finally about to be like made public or released, and that's really going to highlight your capabilities. However, this is so specific. This is really just going to be for a couple people. However, that is going to get you a lot of attention, but a lot of attention always comes hand in hand with some negative attention. So make sure, yep, some judgment right underneath that Seven of Wands. Make sure that your closets are clean before this goes public. I'm saying check your socials, run through all of your old socials, and make sure that that stuff is squeaky clean. Absolutely, because there's somebody here that's about to get a whole lot of attention and a whole lot of judging eyeballs on you. And you're just going to want to make sure that your things are in order so that you can properly enjoy this celebration of your efforts. Because there's a lot of stuff that you have been working on behind closed doors, and I think you've been working on them with the knowledge of it's gonna pay off, it's gonna pay off. Someday I'll be able to celebrate this. Someday we will all be able to kind of celebrate the progress here. Okay, let's keep going. Let's get another row. Tell me about the Seven of Swords. I'm telling you, this is very specific, but for some of you, the vibe that I'm getting is almost like the way that you would sign an NDA because you worked on a music project with some high profile name attached, and you know, they wouldn't let you say a single peep about it because that's how they are, right? So whether that is you working within literally, this could be a million things. This could be working on a specific album. This could be working on a movie. This could be also, you know, everything doesn't have to be so global. There are a lot of ways that celebrities are created within specified fields. So even if you're working, let's say, in real estate, there could be something that is still going to get you a lot of attention within that specific field, and within that specific field you worked with someone who is very prominent, or you know, there's just so many ways that this can go, where there are a lot of stages out in the world, and not every stage has to be Hollywood or Spotify. There are a lot of different stages. Look at, we have the Three of Cups. Okay, see, I do feel like you were working on something in secrecy with someone. This could even be like creating a startup and launching an app. Launching an app or a website. Launching a store. Launching something. And it's something that you and others have been working on in secret. Not necessarily secret, but it just wasn't public. And then we have the Temperance card, and this feels like the payoff to all of the work that you've put in. Tell me about the Star card. We have the Hierophant. Yeah, you're gonna get devotees. Why did my voice crackle like that? Tell me about this High Priestess. Three of Wands. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Swords. Okay, let me dial this down a little bit. I want to dial it down just to make it more accessible. So what I mean by that is, let's think of you having let's think of you having a very stable kind of job. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to force something, because if you have a stable job, I don't see you staying there. I see you leaving a stable job for something that is a lot more. See, now this is the thing though. We had the King of Pentacles. So you are not the kind of person that is going to make rash decisions. This is something that you've been strategizing over for a long time. If you have a job, I see you leaving that job to create something somewhere else or with someone else. And I see that being kind of the payoff. Like, honestly, what I'm seeing is that past job was probably really shitty, but you learned a lot of valuable insight from the position that you were in, and you're able to take that insight with you where you are headed. And that's why we see the Six of Swords here at the end, and it's like we're taking that with us in the dead of night. What's underneath that? We have the Five of Pentacles. Oh yeah, you are leaving something behind, for sure. I think you're leaving behind this idea that you have to scrape by. You're leaving behind the idea of having to, okay, things are clicking. We're leaving behind a mentality of, I have to work like a dog to make things happen. You are leaning a lot more into your High Priestess energy, and I love that. I absolutely love that, because group 2 This actually feels like you are a step or two ahead of where group 2 is right now, because group 2, it was all about like recently they've not been honoring their intuition and their inner high priestess. And I think you are well on your way to honoring it, or stepping into something that is a lot more aligned with your intuition, and therefore moving away from this idea of the world is a cold, hard place and I have to grind my life away within like a silly little corporate job in order to pay all of my bills. Like you're kind of you're like 2 steps ahead and moving away from that entirely, because you have a strong understanding of your own capabilities. I mean, I love that we have the 6 of Wands with the Star card and then the Temperance card with the Hierophant. This is so powerful because this is about you really believing in your ability to succeed, and this being the dedication to yourself, because it isn't just plain belief isn't going to facilitate, right? Plain belief, even when we're talking about manifestation occurs through aligning your energy with your ability to receive. So it's the alignment of I believe that I am worthy with actions to prove that, right? Actions. Manifesting isn't just about making a blind wish and waiting for it to come true. It is following through with actions that are in alignment with your belief. And so that's what I'm seeing here, is that there is this belief of, no, I think I can do more. I think I'm meant for more, especially with the Star card. This, honestly, with the Hierophant, is very much about a dedication to healing and a dedication to healing work. Especially with the High Priestess, you're connecting more with your intuition. So I don't know, healing. With the Temperance card as well. These energies talk to me about healing. But I'm not sure that it's necessarily you healing something about yourself, as more so of whatever it is that you're providing is something that is of a healing nature or has a healing quality to it. So whether that is a product that you came up with or a service, there's a healing aspect to this. And also the use of your intuition. You are utilizing your intuition. You're not just listening to your intuition. You are getting ready to utilize your intuition, meaning that it's an actual tool that you use in order to move forward when it comes to career matters. Okay, so again, I just want to highlight that with this 6 of Wands and the Star card, there's this belief of, listen, I can do it. I know I can do it. And then with the Temperance card and the Hierophant, there's this dedication. I will do whatever is necessary to prove that I have what it takes. But then also with the Temperance card, this indicates that Spirit is right on your side. They're like, yeah, if as long as you show up like this, we will facilitate whatever we need to in order to keep you going. And that, through that kind of attitude, we are stepping away from self-sabotaging behaviors, which mainly was probably the idea of like, I need to be in a codependent relationship with my employment. Something along those lines. Let's get some dice for these energies. Ooh, we have the 8th house. We have Mercury, and we have Sagittarius. So the 8th house is a house of Power and control, other people's money. Mercury is about communication, and Sagittarius is about exploration and expansion. That is that Three of Wands, especially with Mercury energy. That is this Three of Wands down here, for sure. The idea of strategizing a way to move forward, keeping your intuition employed in the path forward, keeping your intuition engaged in making decisions for the path forward. And I think there's also something just very peaceful about the Six of Swords in relation to the Seven of Swords that came way in the beginning, because this feels like the idea of like a squirrel, like trying to hoard stuff and trying to like just being kind of anxious and living probably paycheck to paycheck, to be honest. And the Six of Swords is just the idea of like, you know what, I can make it work no matter where, no matter which direction we're headed. With this 8th house energy, I think there's some kind of release of control that is taking place. I also, for some of you, I could see this 8th house energy in relation to this 7 of Swords and the 3 of Cups being you taking advantage in like a healthy way, taking advantage of some kind of financial, like a grant or a loan or a grant, a loan, or some kind of government support in order to start a business or start a service of some kind. Yeah, I could totally see that. Now, let's take a look at what other oracle cards we have here. Look at, we have Healer. That is something that we were already talking about. Okay, so let me tell you, we have light attributes and shadow attributes. Let's read them. It says Healer, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Ability to help transform pain into healing. The shadow attributes, taking advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. And in here we have the dark figure from this oracle deck. This dark figure feels like the looming presence of those voices in your mind that tell you you can't do it. You can't do it. The Six of Swords, super healing energy. The Star card, super healing energy. The Temperance card, super healing energy. The High Priestess along with the Hierophant is very spiritually powerful energy. But there is this, especially connecting to that Seven of Swords, there is this attitude that looms in the back of your mind that is very likely completely entangled with someone else's voice, with expectations by society, and deeply entangled with conditioning that you received. And this voice is saying like, you can't do it, you can't do it. So that is something that is going to definitely be a fight. And I was going to say battle, but I think that's a little bit too extreme. I think it's a fight. And I don't think it's necessarily, it shouldn't be categorized as a struggle. It's a fight, right? It is something that has to be addressed head on. And then we have to bring our attention to it every time that it acts up again. But it's not going to control the way that things go. But it is looming. We have it looming right here, this Five of Pentacles, this idea of, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it, and we need to move on from that. What is underneath the Five of Pentacles? The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, which indicates sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, okay? The Wheel of Fortune takes no prisoners, it takes everyone as a prisoner. So the Wheel of Fortune has no regard for emotional state. It keeps moving, okay? So what I'm seeing when it comes to career for you, whether you are currently employed or whether you are self-employed or trying to start your own business, what's going to be very important for you is to heal this relationship to your inner doubt, because otherwise you're going to let this dark figure run rampant. It's not, honestly, it's not, how do I put this? I think it's very fitting that this card came out, because the way that the dark figure is kind of looming in the shadows, that's exactly how your darker voice is looming beyond all of this. We have it come out in the Seven of Swords, and we have it come out in this Five of Pentacles underneath here. Aside from that, everything else on the surface is very much like, I'm dedicated, I'm willing, I'm showing up, I'm gonna do it. There is no way for me to not succeed. And yet there's like this subverted energy underneath this reading where it's like this dark force of like, are you sure about that? Are you? And every time that you kind of listen to it, it grows bigger and it grows bigger and it grows bigger. So this is just, the only reason it's coming out in this reading is so that you're aware of it. So that it's not going to stop you, it's not going to hinder you, but bringing awareness to it is going to help you control it, is going to help you keep it in check. But there's also something, an aspect that you are healing through you overcoming that. Aside from that, when it comes to your career, healing could be a part of your career aspect. So whether that's something that you choose to do, or this time period of you actually receiving praise for the work that you have done could be something that's very healing to you. So this could be a time period that is just very healing, because you're finally getting the attention and you're finally receiving the celebration for all of the work that you've put in behind closed doors, that you've put in. So honestly, this could also have to do with some kind of graduating process, graduating from a certain program. So yeah, let's get some more oracle cards. Oh my god, I totally got lost somewhere. Meaning I talked too long at some point. Some of my favorite things to do is talking too much. Let's get for group 3 in career, let's get one oracle card, one moon oracle card. For group 3. Oh, there it is. Well, I said there it is, and then this other card wants to come out too, so we'll take a look at it. But hunger came out first. We have hunger, and this, especially because there's this big full moon, right? And full moon is about bringing attention to something. It's connecting to that Six of Wands for me. You have this hunger to receive the kind of attention, but I don't think, it doesn't feel like it's coming from like a place of entitlement. Connecting back to what I said here, it doesn't feel like it's coming from a place of entitlement, but more so from a place of just wanting to know that what you're doing has an impact and what you're doing is meaningful. Like it's coming from a place of wanting to take your place in the world, to be quite honest. Let's see what else we got. We have attraction. Oh, and I like this combination. I have gotten this before in readings. This combination specifically to me indicates that your hunger is attracting what it is that you are hungry for, right? So this is telling me, I'm just going to cover up that dark figure because we know it's there. This is attracting in what it is that you are yearning for, which is not always the case. So that's beautiful, because that's a beautiful confirmation of like that hunger that you feel that for a reason, which again just means that you have to trust your inner high priestess. You have to, you know, you're really going to lean on your intuition as a tool to move you forward. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I'm picking up anything else. Again, I feel called to point out with this healer energy that could very well have to do with your capabilities of healing people in some form of another, or serving people. But it can also have a lot to do with healing your expectations in all things career. That there's something within you that is being healed, and that then allows you to really kind of step into an aspect of your career that you previously didn't have access to because that part of you wasn't healed yet. And I think it has a lot to do with kind of stepping up. For group 3, can we get an oracle card? Wow. I went flying. It literally did spring. It jumped. We have spring. Innate knowledge is at the bottom of the deck. Okay. I'm just trying to see how we can tie this in, because this spring energy, I think it's interesting that the bunny is kind of like jumping towards this. So perhaps there is some kind of career choice that has to do with healing or serving people. So that can be healing in a spiritual way, healing in a mental way, in a physical way. Also healing because for some reason with Mercury, like singing still comes through. So that could have to do with healing other people's abilities. So whether you're like a singing coach or something like that. And I am still getting this, sorry, I'm still getting a storyline. There's somebody here who, I feel like there's somebody here who actually never dared to sing out loud or sing in front of their friends because they received some kind of judgment from family, or just, I don't know, just not necessarily judgment, but just a lack of support. And so they think that their voice is really kind of agitating, or that they're, notice how my voice is getting all crackly right now. There's some kind of throat chakra issues there, where it's like they don't really want to speak up. You don't really want to speak up. You don't really want to sing because you've been made to believe one thing. And turns out that that's absolutely not accurate. And through using your voice, you will actually heal that aspect. But it is going to take a leap of faith with this Three of Wands and that Spring card. Okay, we are pulling one last oracle card, and this one I am reading from the booklet. Typically ties in very nicely. So for group 3, can we get one last oracle card for group 3? Miss Sunshine. Wow. You really do have healing powers, don't you? That is number 17. We have Miss Sunshine. Sun, light, energy, courage, and clarity. A woman rises high into the sky. Her hair shines bright like the sun. Her skirt looks like a huge building. She comes from a darker place. Beneath her lies gloom and shadows, but her light is glowing. She is like the energy of life and the sun of the universe. She focuses her intentions on the positive and is able to gain clarity. She leaves the night and fears behind. I love that. That is so beautiful, because I do this darker place is that dark looming figure, right? And those darker voices, whether they're somebody else's voices or something that you've internalized and has become part of your own voice, that is something that we are leaving behind, because you're being carried by this healing energy, which I think also is being transformed within you into energy to want to heal. So going back to whether this is like a voice kind of thing, like I could see for some of you, this is about singing, and how you want to sing not necessarily for the attention or for the money or for the fame, but because you're a songwriter and you want your messages to help other people, like your lyrics to help other people to make it through the pain that you've made it through. So that kind of applies to whatever area that your career falls into, right? So it really has a lot to do with you wanting to support. You also don't, this is something that I really appreciate about this energy, you're not trying to gatekeep. You're not trying to uphold limitations on other people. You are wanting to overcome and step into the power that is accessible to you, and then once you're there, you want to make sure that other people have access to that as well. This isn't just for your own sake. I love that. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I really hope this resonates. I hope it made sense, and I hope it provided you some confirmation moving forward. I think you're absolutely going in the right direction. So keep at it. There's going to be a lot of praise ahead of you. And you deserve it. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care.